Today's class is going to be about natural disasters. We are going to be talking about how prepared we are for undergoing the natural disasters. So I think that it's going to be so interesting. You know what? I think that here in Mexico, we are not prepared for many things, for many events like this, because we are blessed. Our weather is extremely beautiful, so we don't have faced many of these disasters. Of course, here we have hurricanes, here we have earthquakes, fire, droughts, blizzards, volcanoes, solar flares, floods, disease, but we don't have tsunamis, and we don't have many other events that in some other places are more common. So what
Yeah.
do you think about it? What do you remember about it?
Well, I am agree with you, teacher, because here in Mexico, just for example, with the last, how can I say, temblor earthquake?
Earthquake.
Okay, thank you. With the last earthquake, the past year.
The last year.
Okay, thank you. The last year, here we have an earthquake, and it was very sorry, how can I say desastroso?
Hazardous.
How can I write it?
Okay, let me write it for you in the screen. Hazardous. Okay, here it is, hazardous.
Okay, thank you, teacher.
My pleasure.
Well, the earthquake of the last year was very hazardous, and he made a lot of disasters. Many builds was get down, and also I think that we are not prepared, specifically in the sea, in the zone that it is close to the sea. For example, Quintana Roo or Yucatan. In that zone, I think that Mexico isn't prepared to have a big disaster like tsunami.
That's it.
Because just think, in Japan they have a lot of technology, and the last tsunami, I don't remember when Japan has a tsunami, but in the tsunami of Japan, it was very hazardous also, and it made a lot of disasters. And I remember that I saw some videos, and I only, when I am seeing the videos, I was just thinking, what would I do if in my home a kind of disaster could pass?
Yeah, that's it. Maybe the point is that we are not used to face those kind of events because they don't happen to us very frequently. They are unexpected, but so isolated. So as it doesn't happen, as I told you before, so usually we don't know how to react.
Yes, it is. It is very hard because also not all the people know the protocol to follow. For example, when an earthquake is passing.
It's in progress.
Okay, thank you. It's in progress, because I don't know, but I suppose that some people, for example, in the elevator, don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. And so I think that it is kind of the preparedness that we need to face and to survive to all of those events. Let me show you something. Would you help me reading this phrase, please?
Of course, we cannot stop natural disasters, but we can arm ourselves with knowledge. So many lives wouldn't have to be lost if there was enough disaster preparedness.
Okay, that's it. What do you think about this?
Well, it's an interesting phrase, and I'm agree with that. But I think that the human being must see about the technology to improve protection in natural disasters. For example, about tsunamis, I think that the engineers could um, think about how to design the builds or how to design the city, the entire city, to be prepared when a tsunami is in progress.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you're right. It is not only to be prepared to face, but to prevent because of the construction, the building of the houses, the buildings, and all of the structure in a city.
Yes, I think that the best way to avoid or to yes to avoid a problem is prevent it.
Aha, that's it. I totally agree with you. Look at this. Here we have a schema about how after an event like that, after a disaster, we can go to the mitigation of the pain that it causes to casualties. So, first of all, we need public information and warning. But what do you think about it? Do we have that public information that we need, that warning?
Well, I have a question. What means mitigation? Mitigación?
Aha, that's it.
But in that way, sorry, I can't understand the idea.
Well, that in order that we have the mitigation for the pain after a disaster, what is the process? What is the whole process that we have to follow to go to this mitigation? It is not just to say, okay, don't worry, everything will be all right.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, so for example, first of all, they say that we need public information and warning about what's going to happen. And
Well, I think that I think that we have just some public information and warning. The media, for example, the TV, I think that it is not very prepared to transmit the right information. I remember also, I remember again the last earthquake in DF, and in that moment, I was seeing the TV, and I remember that in the news, I just saw one one case about a children.
a child.
A child, sorry, a child. I can't remember her name. I think that
It was Sophia.
okay. Thank you. Yes, Sophia. Sophia, and I don't know why the media was only centered in her because here we had a lot of doubts, a lot of pain, and he needed a lot of information about how the how can I say placas tectónicas?
Tectonic plaques.
Okay, thank you. I think that in that moment we needed more information about the tectonic plaques behavior, and how the earthquake could be evolutioning. I don't know how to
Evolving.
say. Oh, thank you. Evolving. So I think that we don't have the correct public information and warning.
You're right. I totally agree with you. Okay.
I have a doubt about the scheme. What means long-term vulnerability reduction?
Well, it means that whenever we have any tragedy, we need to be, well, we are vulnerable, and we are vulnerable not at the short term, not just for today and tomorrow. We are vulnerable for a long time because those damages can be solved for as soon as we would like to. So we have to look for the reduction of that term, that not to be vulnerable for a long time, to help each other so that we can solve the situation as soon as possible.
Okay, thank you.
For example, when the earthquake in the last year, September the last year happened, there were lots of people helping, but it was kind of like 1 month. After that, many people was tired. Many people thought, okay, that's enough, and nobody did anything else. And so at this point, there are many people almost living in the streets because they don't have a house, and well, it was the result of that event. So they were vulnerable in a long term.
Yes, I'm agree with you because, well, I'm not an altruistic person or how can I say philanthropo?
Philanthropist.
Okay, thank you. I'm not a philanthropist, but also I don't like to see people suffering. But I think that if you want to help people, you have to do it by the start at the end, the complete process. You can't uh, leave the people suffering. You have to oh sorry to finish your work helping people.
That's it, you're right. Yeah, so because I think that we should be empathetic. If we were in that situation, what we would like to happen, that somebody forget about us, or that they continue helping, that they keep on interested in our situation.
Yes, you have to, how can I say, ponerte en los zapatos del otro.
To be on the other's side.
Okay, thank you. You have to be on the other side to understand the situation.
Yeah, you're right. I agree. So look at this. For getting to this point, we need, first of all, operational coordination. If we don't have this operational coordination, it may happen something like in Xochimilco, that there were lots of people who wanted to help, they longed to help, but as they had no coordination, they were waiting outside the zone to be said what to do. But they were an obstacle for the Red Cross, for the firefighters to come to the place and help. because they didn't permit the trucks to pass. So they needed to be coordinated by somebody else and to say, all right, you are going to help by the media. So posting Facebook day and night. You are going to be helping to find a place for donations and kind of like those things. Not to be stepping outside waiting for watching what happens.
Yes, you're right. I think that the people in Mexico need a lot of coordination, and coordination is needed in any ambit, because if you don't have it, you can't do the things right. So you need coordination to organize the process to help people.
Aha, that's right. And so for getting that operational coordination, first of all, we have to plan. Planning is necessary in every single activity that we do.
Yes, but I think that when a natural disaster is in progress, I think that planning is very hard to do, because you don't have any time. You just have to do it, and that's all. And I think that it is very difficult to have a good plan. But I think that the engineers, or maybe I don't know which organizations or which parts of the government, but I think that I don't know how to say. Sorry, I don't know how it's called an institution in Mexico, Seguridad Pública, public security.
That's it.
Okay, I think that the public security. Oh, sorry, teacher. Just give me a second because my screen turned off. I don't know why.
It's okay. Don't worry. Don't worry. Take your time.
Yes, I connect the wire. Okay.
That's it. Maybe the battery is going to its end.
No, I have a desktop computer, but the wire of the screen was
disconnected.
Disconnected. Thank you.
It's okay.
Okay. I said then that I think that public security must have a previous plan to prevent or to know how to react or how to coordinate the process when a natural disaster is in progress.
Yes, that's what I was going to tell you. Exactly that specialized people should have a previous plan so that we can have a model to react in the necessary time, in the moment, in the correct moment.
Oh, okay.
All right. Ethel, how are you?
Hello, teacher. Good night. I'm sorry. I'm late.
Don't worry. We understand. How are you?
I am fine. I have a little cold because the climate is very extreme.
That's it. Yeah, you're right. You know what? We are talking. Samuel, I am going to let myself to take the other image back so that Ethel can see what we are talking about.
Yes, of course, teacher.
All right, Ethel, we are talking about natural disasters. And we're discussing how prepared we are for coping with these natural disasters. What do you think about it, Ethel?
Well, in the hospitals and the public local government have an description of the precautions about these situations, fire or sismo, temblor,
earthquake.
Earthquake, yeah, sorry. Inclusive inside the elevator.
The lifts or the elevators.
The elevators, in the screen, top of the elevator, put a description, earthquake.
In case of earthquake.
Maintain the calm. The doors permanecen closed.
Stay closed.
Stay closed. And put cats around the elevator, hearing a click inside the elevator, and moves, but I think no se caerá.
It won't be crumbled.
Yes, it not be crumbled. Is secured. Then when the earthquake passed, open the doors and the people put subside.
Yeah, you're right. You know what? Yes, I haven't considered that all of those directions are in some part, some instructions, some quick instructions about how to operate an elevator, how to use an extinguisher,
okay.
What to do in case of fire.
Yes.
Because you know what, we are talking about the preparedness that we should have and the process for getting to pain mitigation. Here we are. We were talking about that public information and warning should be provided to people that would reduce the long-term vulnerability so that people couldn't be in needs. They are not in problems for a long time. But to get to that point, we need operational coordination so that they can have order, because sometimes we want to help, but we are an obstruction because we don't let the others move with freedom, because we are waiting there to somebody to say what to do. So what do you think about it?
Well, we obstruct the other people because the panic invade us. Then our brain don't think the form correct, how about the reaction. The panic is sick in this moment, and it's not clear. It's not clear our brain.
You're right. Yes, you know, I haven't considered even that part. All right. So thank you very much. It was so interesting. You're right. So look at this. I want you to do me a favor. You and Samuel are going to talk about a plan for helping people in distress, in disguise, when an event like this happened. So I would like you to discuss what would it be necessary to do, what it be more possible to do also, and what is more necessary, how you could do it, all right?
Okay, teacher.
All right, thank you.
So, but in which natural disaster? I think earthquake.
Yeah, you could take agreements about what is the natural disaster you are going to try to solve.
Okay.
Well, not to solve, but to prepare.
Yeah. Well, what do you think, Ethel, that we need when a natural disaster like an earthquake happens? I think, for example, I suppose that the first is that we need a good organization, but what else?
Okay, well, the prepare for a earthquake is a very variable because first we have take our hay unos chalecos, teacher, unos chalecos que son señalizadores, no recuerdo su nombre.
Protection vests.
Okay, the protection vest, the take a course of about these moments, like prepare the organization, prepare the sites of the. Hay unas que se llaman columnas de contención, teacher, no sé cómo se digan.
Contention columns.
Okay, contention columns. And this design when put the people in case the building is most 3 levels, because in other circumstances, in 16 seconds, the people don't have back stairs security area.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're right, Ethel. I was, when you are saying that, I was reading this point. I don't know how to. Teacher, how can I señalar? I don't know how to say señalar.
Point.
Oh, thank you. I don't know how to point the threats and hazards in the screen.
You know what?
Okay. Sorry, I remember. I was searching the option here. I was reading this, and I suppose that we need a good organization to move the people to places without threats, because, for example, in an earthquake, you know that the buildings could get down and also could
collapse.
Collapse. Okay, thank you. The buildings could collapse and also could be, how can I say, permanecer de pie?
Stand up.
Okay, thank you. The buildings could collapse and also the buildings could be stand up, but you know that some buildings that are stand up before an earthquake are vulnerable or maybe a threat, because I think that buildings are how can I say, dañadas?
Hazard.
Okay, thank you. Because that builds maybe are hazard, and you have to move the people to other place apart that builds and a place that is without streets, and the people can avoid any hazard. Also, I think that before the natural disaster, we need victuals. Is it right? Victuals means víveres?
Supplies.
Supplies. Okay. So I think that the people need supplies because, you know, in the past earthquake, many people lost their home and also lost a lot of money and food and other things. And we need big supplies for the people that it is suffering the natural disaster.
Okay, I agree with you, but first, I think in the organization when you say that point, because in the earthquake, if out of without organization, if no survive, and because if we stay in the 17th floor, is impossible upstairs in a minute. And then we stay inside the building in the columns. ¿Cómo me dijo, teacher? Las columnas de soporte.
Supportive columns.
Thank you. And the supportive columns during the earthquake, and then up the stairs one by one, very carefully, with lamps and with a guy up the stairs at the planta baja, teacher?
First floor.
The first floor, at the first floors in the security area. And contains the people in that place for gives primeros auxilios.
First aid.
First health.
First aids.
First aids. First aid, and then pues send your house. Send it at your house. It's all, teacher.
All right, thank you very much. Yes, you know what? I totally agree with you. There are many things that are necessary to organize for planning a good first aid plan to help people to survive. Here they say that they need also threats and hazard identification. We have to identify how safe a situation can be. You know what? It made me remember that when the last year earthquake happened, of course there were many buildings damaged, and there were many schools that were so hazardous for students. So classes were stopped in many schools in Mexico State and in Morelos, in Puebla, and in Mexico City, of course. But as Protección Civil had so much work, they began doing something instead of identifying the risk and the hazard, the hazardous situations. They began signing some of the permissions and saying, it's okay, we have already checked it up, when they neither check nor go to the place. And they said, all right, you can continue working. But I guess that, well, of course, they reduced their work, but they didn't reduce the threats, because if the place was damaged, then of course it is a risk. It was a complete risk for the people who were inside. So I think that in that situation, it hasn't been done. So what do you think about it, Samuel?
I'm agree with you, teacher. You can't be in a place working the building is damaged. So I think that the authorities first have to check all the building and say the building is safe, but you can work with a risk.
Mm-hmm. And even, for example, in the case of public schools, where there are lots of children, it's a crime. It's kind of like crime to do that, because they are risking the lives of children. And teachers, of course, have to cope with that situation because they are in charge in the moment of hazardous situation, of a risky situation.
Yes, I think that the authorities didn't take care about the situation because they weren't living the situation.
Mm-hmm. And even they don't have any people involved in that situation, so they don't care if they are safe or not.
Yes, I'm against that about the authorities. I would like to have better authorities in my country that take really good care about the people.
Mm-hmm, that's it. All right, thank you, Samuel. Ethel, what do you think about it?
Well, we are not prepared for mitigation disaster because we don't practice continuously.
Mm-hmm.
Because our boss is les quita el tiempo,
is continuously wasting time.
Okay, wasting time and it no care for our for your employees.
For their employees.
Their employees, okay, for their employees. Then it's important take something someone plan of mitigation each of us. ¿Sí? Cada uno de nosotros.
But each one has a mitigation plan.
No. Sorry, teacher.
But each one
have
a mitigation plan.
Have a mitigation plan, yes. And in these terms, we have best possibilities of surviving. Survivor.
Yes, you know what? I will let myself to go to the next image. Here we have something so personal. Because as you said before, we need to be prepared not only to wait for the authorities to be prepared, but to do something personal for our own safety. So in this case, they recommend that we have on hand, well, maybe to prepare a backpack next to the door with some of these elements. So I don't know, you know what? I have already talked a lot of times about this topic, and I don't have my backpack.
Me too. I don't have my backpack.
Okay. I have my backpack, teacher.
Do you?
Yes, next to the door.
Hey, that's great.
Yes, because we, our family, prepares the documents in a
suitcase.
Suitcase, yes, and the first aid kit.
That's it.
And the cell phone, well, in the back of the pants, and the supplies in other bag.
That's
only
it.
The necessary.
Yeah, so that you can be prepared for all of those events. You know what? I guess that another point, besides the security backpack, should have to be sleeping with appropriate clothes, because some of us like to be very free when we sleep, but whenever, well, if an event like this happens, we are not going to have time to wear anything. So maybe it's not comfortable, but anyway, we should be safe if we are prepared to go out of the bed and run.
Yes, I agree with you. Because, well, I sleep with a lot of clothes. and when have a earthquake, I run. I put my things, my suitcases, and in the other hand, in the arm or wherever, in the head, I put my cobertor, colcha.
My bedspread.
My bedspread, And my dog.
Of course. Of course, you know what? It is something so interesting and so important because sometimes when we are afraid, when we are in distress, we don't think about our pets, we forget them.
Yes.
And they are in distress also. They are afraid and they don't know what to do.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, Ethel.
I have I have a question about the picture, teacher.
Yes.
What is the cold pack?
The cold, oh my, where is it? The cold pack. Yep. It's a thing that you are going to use for patches. For example, if you have, oh my, how to explain?
Sorry, moretón. How can I say golpe? A hit?
It is a pack for bandages like tela adhesiva.
Okay.
That you can use.
Okay, thank you.
Como un apósito, teacher?
Yeah, okay. That's it.
Okay.
When there is some injuries, something for healing that kind of injuries.
Okay. Okay. That's clear.
All right. Well, I don't know. They said that we should have gauzes and gauze pads, but I don't know how to use them, and I don't know how they could help me in that moment. But I don't know many things. Maybe for me, it would be very interesting and very necessary to have a chocolate bar. But
yes.
Yeah, but you know what? I said that as a joke, but somebody told me also that chocolate bars are very necessary to be in the safety backpack because chocolate is well, it apports calories that are very necessary when you are hungry, you are starving for many days that you were not rescued, and you need also some energy.
Yes.
Yes, the chocolate bars are good. For example, right now the weather is very cold, and you can eat some chocolate, and the cold maybe wouldn't be very hard. So they are very useful to apport energy to our body, and you have to think about the natural disaster in that situation. Maybe we couldn't have all the food that regular we have.
Mm-hmm.
That usually we have. So I think that in your backpack you can put a chocolate bar, but I think that you must change it. Because I don't know how to say caducidad, but
So they go to their end.
yes, you have to think about it.
Same thing can happen with plain water because you have to have water also. But when water is stored for a long time,
Yes.
It has some microbes, so it is necessary to change it also.
Yes, I think that it's the same about medicine. Maybe medicine like aspirin or I don't know how to say paracetamol.
Some painkillers.
Okay, painkillers. I think that they are very necessary in the backpack.
You're right. In the safety backpack. Hey, yes, you're right. You know what? I think that all of this topic has been extremely interesting for me. I really thank you because I could share my ideas with you. And so, well, I don't know if you want to say anything else, to say any comment.
Well, I like this topic because it is hard for me, and it made me think in English. And when I think in English, I do that my brain practice the English, and it is very hard for me. I don't know why. When I am reading English, I understand it very easy, but when I am talking, it is very hard to think in English. And if I am talking about a topic that it is not very common for me, it is too hard.
Mm-hmm. But you know why?
It's harder. Sorry. Yes, tell me.
Yeah, it is because we need to practice a little more about some different vocabulary. So when we are not sure about what is the word, the exact word that we need in that moment, that turns into a difficult task. But
yes,
that's why I try to make some variation about the topics so that you can use more different vocabulary than usual.
That's good, teacher. Thank you.
Okay, thanks to you. You know what? I really like that you are so participative and that you pay attention a lot. So that's nice. That's motivating for me.
Thank you to you, teacher.
All right. Well, thank you very much. And have a very good night.
Teachers,
yes.
Sorry, teacher.
It's okay.
I
Tell me.
have a doubt about my situation in the English platform.
All right.